This next story is one you probably all know. It was told to me by a wonderful man called Rick, who sadly is no longer with us. He didn't write it, but he told it beautifully. And now I'm telling it to all of you. It's called The Wolf and the 7 Little Kids. Once upon a time, not too long ago, I think it might have been last Thursday, Mother Goat called her 7 children together. "Right, you kids," she said, "I'm going off to Sainsbury's, right? Now I want you all to behave yourselves when I'm out, and don't break the furniture, and whatever you do, don't answer the door, because there's a big bad wolf in the forest." And the kids all said, which basically means, "Don't worry, Mum, we'll be good." And as Mother Goat clippity-clopped away down the road, there, at the bottom of the garden, was the wolf, picking his nose. Ugh. And eating something smelly. "Oh, good, she's gone. About time too, 'cause I'm starving. I'm going to go up to this house, and I'm going to huff, and I'm going to puff, and I'm going... No, that's not right. I did that yesterday, didn't I? No, it's the 7 goats for dinner today." So the wolf went up to the door, drivelling and grinning and taking the top off his ketchup bottle. And he got to the door and he knocked on the door. "Who is it?" cried the kids. "It's the wolf. Open the door. I've come to eat you." "Shove off. Our mum told us not to open the door, especially to wolves. Get lost." "Oh, bum," said the wolf, and he ran off into town to have a bit of a think. Then he realised that he might be coming over a bit too aggressive, so he tried to speak in a nice voice. Hello, children." "Oh, no. Hello, children." No. "Hello, children." That's it. "Hello, children." "Wonderful. Now don't forget the mustard." And he ran off back to the goat's house, and he knocked on the door again. "Who is it?" cried the kids. "Hello, children. It's a nice lady here come to see you. Open the door and lie on a plate." "Well, you don't sound like a very nice lady at all." "Well, I am. I'm your dear mother, and I've got some sweeties for you." But then the youngest kid, Billy the kid, noticed the wolf's horrible, dirty black feet, and he cried, "You're not our mum. Our mum's got lovely white feet. You're the horrid, stinky wolf. Get lost." "Oh, big bum," said the wolf, and he ran off to the baker's shop. Burst through the door, and he said, "Give me some white flour, now." "Get in the cow first," said the baker. "Get stuffed," said the wolf. "Bosh." "Oh, what a rude young man," said a granny at the back of the queue. "Bosh," said the wolf. "Don't you bosh my wife," said a grandad trying to act tough. "Well, bish, bash, bosh," said the wolf, and he threw the grandad into a strawberry gatto, which made the grandad very cross. And he was such a horrible wolf, he headbutted every single grandma in the shop and stole the biggest bag of flour that he could. And then he went off into the woods and he poured the flour all over his feet, turning them white. Then he raced back to the 7 little kids' house, and this time he didn't even bother knocking on the door. He smashed the window. "Right, children, your nice mother's back with lots of prezzies for you. Now please let me in." You don't sound like our mum," said one of the kids. "Yeah, our mother doesn't usually smash the windows," said another kid. "But I've got a brand new computer game for you," said the wolf. "Fantastic," said all the kids. "Computer games!" And they opened the door. "Here's Wolfie," said Wolf, and he ran in. "Oh no, what a mistake," cried all the kids, and they started running around acting like idiots. Oh. And instead of trying to hide properly, they all ran and hid in idiotic places. One of them poured baked beans over his head and pretended to be a tin. One climbed onto the bed and pretended to be a blanket. One hid in the oven, pretending to be a loaf of bread. One hid in the sink, pretending to be the washing up. One of them just stood still in the middle of the room and made some chicken noises. One of them jumped down the toilet, pretending to be something horrible that wouldn't go away. But clever little Billy decided to run out of the house, and he hid up the nearest tree. the wolf ripped up the house and he ran after all the kids, eating them up one by one without even chewing. Hello! Hello down there! And he ate up all 6. I'd have liked to have eaten Billy too, just out of sheer wolfy piggishness. But he was so full up with the 6 and so tired after running about that he went outside and fell asleep under Billy's tree, burping to himself. Anyway, Mother Goat came back home and saw what a mess the house was in. You see, all the time the wolf had gone to the shop to do whatever he had to do, the kids had had lovely games like let's smear mud from the plant pots on the furniture, and let's break the furniture, and other things like that. So Mother Goat was not pleased. You kids have been running around and shouting and farting and all sorts of things, she said. But she couldn't see any of them anywhere. She called out each one of their names, but nobody came. So Mother Goat sat down in the middle of the house. She guessed what had happened and started to cry. Maybe you can't imagine how sad she was. Maybe you can't, but maybe you can. But if you can't, it was a bit like this. All my children have been eaten by the horrible, nasty wolf. All 6 of them. 7, came a voice from a tree. Oh, yes, that's right, it was 7. Oh, no, one of the ghosts of them is talking to me, said Mother Goat. I'm not a ghost, said Billy. I was clever and I hid up the tree. Help get me down. You get down from there at once, she said, and she helped Billy down. Naughty. Anyway, after giving Billy a big goaty hug and another smack bottom for good measure, Billy told her exactly what had happened. Mother Goat cried all over again and said lots of silly things. But Billy said, don't worry, Mother. You see, the wolf is right there, under a tree, asleep. Oh, how harrowing! Oh, let's run away. Hang on, look at the state of him, said Mother Goat. He's got loads of big bumpy things in his tummy. They're not big bumpy things, said Billy. They're my brothers and sisters. Oh, how spine-chilling! Oh, quick, let's run away, said Mum. No, said Billy. Just because someone's bigger and stronger than you doesn't mean you should run away from them. Listen to me. And he whispered in Mother Goat's ear. And he ran into the house and got a sewing basket. Now, are you sure you've got thread in here, Mother? Said Billy. Well, yes, of course I am, said Mother Goat. As Billy carefully began to snip open the wolf's tummy with his mother's sewing scissors. What on earth are you doing? Said his mother. He'll be very cross when he sees a big hole in his tummy. She didn't get any further because out popped one of the kids. Pooh! Ugh! Oh my good God, that was awful! Oh, you should see what the wolf's got in there, cried the kid. And as Billy continued to cut, out popped the other 5, and they all ran around going, pooh-ee, at the smell of the wolf, and they hugged Billy tight, and they hugged Mother Goat, and they got all the horrible wolfy slime off them. And anyway, in the end, Billy said, now listen carefully, all of you. Gather up all the stones that you can in the garden, quickly. We haven't got much time. So all the kids gathered up stones, and Billy chose the 6 biggest stones from the pile, and he put them into the wolf's stomach and sewed him up again as neat as any doctor would. Anyway, while all this was going on, the wolf was still sound asleep because he'd eaten so much. You wonder why his tummy was jumping about a bit, but he didn't bother too much about it. His tummy usually jumped about after he'd eaten something. Anyway, after the stitching was done, Mother Goat and the kids all ran upstairs to the big bedroom at the top of the house to watch what would happen next. Eventually, the wolf woke up and he felt very thirsty, and he wandered down to the river. But the wolf had a problem. You see, with all the big stones in his tummy, he couldn't walk properly. He staggered about all over the place, but eventually, bit by bit, he found his way to the river. Then came another problem. Every time he leaned forward to take a drink, he almost fell in. He tried leaning to the left. That didn't work. He tried leaning to the right, and that made everything worse. Oh dear, said the wolf. I've eaten 6 little goats, but it feels like I've eaten 6 stones. So he got down on his knees, tried to lean forward. Oh no! Splash! 20 feet down to the bottom of the lake. And I'm afraid he had to drown horribly and miserably because of all the stones in his tummy. And it served him right, really, for being a horrible, greedy, granny head-butting wolf. As for the goat and the kids, they moved to a better part of town and formed a documentary committee. And they made a documentary all about how the wolf had eaten them. And they lived quite happily till the rest of their days.